One campaign brings another ray of light amid this pandemic by paying tribute to our modern-day heroes. Thousands of solar lamps light up the iconic Rizal Monument as we commemorate Andres Bonifacio Day. Litter of Light founder and social entrepreneur Illac Diaz sheds more light on this initiative, joining us now live from Luneta Park. Illac, thank you so much for joining us. What we have right behind you are these stunning 3,000 lights, Illac, in the shape of the Philippine flag. So tell us, what do they represent?
Well, we had a hard time because we wanted to represent the number of Filipinos that were doing us, this extraordinary selfless service. Andres Bonifacio fought for his country, fought for independence in a selfless manner, no? So we wanted to see what people do in a selfless way. So we went online with this Light It Forward campaign, asking people to build solar lights from their home because we couldn't come out. We wanted to make the greatest symbol representing the Filipino sacrifice around the world. And so each and every person made a light from their home through a viral campaign. And now we get to celebrate it here to see the power of the people. Rico, almost 20% of the world's frontliners, our humanitarian mission export around the world was the front lines in this COVID. We suffered greatly, and so we wanted to commemorate it. We wanted to humanize it by making each frontliner have a name on this slide. So there are names of doctors and nurses there that have died, gotten sick, and continue to serve here and around the world.
Illac, these heroic Filipino frontliners from around the world have fought for all of us as we continue to battle this unseen enemy. And what an important day to honor them on Andres Bonifacio Day, a bayaning frontliner. Well,
Rico, this is, hallowed ground. Many people died here fighting for the country. Of course, Rizal is very well known, but many people were executed on this hallowed ground. This one, we didn't want people to just remember the dead on internet and on social media. We wanted to show the number. We wanted to see the masses of the human sacrifice that's happening. And this is not even those that, that are separated from their families, that are rejected. There are people from St. Luke's that we're talking about coming in uniform and going back to their houses exhausted, and people throwing things at them. The human sacrifice to go to work every day to confront this. We did not want 2020 to disappear without commemorating them. We have, world leaders commending the Filipinos, but we have to own it. We have to name it. The world must see the contribution of the Filipinos to the world. The world stop in this darkness.
Absolutely, Illac, we really have to own it. I mean, I've spoken to some international leaders from the UK and the US, and they have told me that the Filipino nurses and doctors have really played a major part in their respective countries in fighting COVID-19. So what you have right now behind you is really a stunning solar light display of the Philippine flag to honor frontliners. Tell us, how long did it take for you to gather all of these lights and organize them at the Luneta Park?
So what's interesting here is the fact that, we're one of the largest social media footprints in the world, but many places use this as entertainment, as communication. But the fact that we got to teach people how to build solar lights at home took us 3 months. So we started slowly. Good News Filipinas is one of our biggest partners, so they were able to spread the good news. But people were actually, replicating. We started with 100, became 500, and then started escalating. We have 400 celebrities and influencers that built it from home, using their influence for good. So it really, really meant a lot to us to be able to show the world that in the Philippines, we're not just a social media capital, but we're the world change maker capital. Rico, one of the most important things you have to see here was the growing negativity against Filipino. There's this racialism against Filipino before what happened this year. You know, we're always talking about the disasters. We're always talking about the poverty, but the world stopped. And the Filipinos was one of the greatest humanitarian armies forward. And I'm just so grateful that the doctors were able to come here and tell their story, because we cannot address this in a wholesale, large billboard. I mean, advertising. We have to name them to immortalize them.
And 3,000 names are right there at Luneta Park, each being represented by those 3,000 solar lights. But Illac, this lighting display is not only for tonight. You also pay it forward for your grassroots movement to bring sustainable solar lighting to people with limited or no access to electricity.
So very interesting is when COVID happened, many of the communities around the Philippines, besides the 13 million without access to energy, lost tourism money. So a lot of these villages were going dark because they rely on expensive kerosene, which is about 2 to 3 pesos a day. And so the only way was to do it was through solar light. And we were thinking we should not stop now. Many said to us, what are you doing? Having such an ambitious project when almost 60% of NGOs were closing down. We said, in times of darkness, Filipinos have always been the one to go forward. And, we wanted to go forward. And as I said, we used social media, NGO 2.0, where we contacted everybody and from the safety of home. And at the same time, the people that built this was only 20 people. And of course, I'd love to thank all of them, the Rotary, the JCIs. AirAsia is our partner, which will bring it all over the Philippines. So they're gonna give us free cargo and seats to bring it all over the country to be able to show that, that this light is dedicated to frontliners because they are our light. Filipino, hindi lang ilaw ng tahanan, pero ilaw ng mundo. And
Illac, I would love to see those 3,000 lights that basically shape the Filipino flag. For how much longer will these solar lights be there at Luneta Park?
So we're now negotiating. Many people like drones and billboards. I mean, the instant ones. And we wanted sweat equity. And as I said, we're waiting for more doctors and nurses to come in. They have the bands, the medical bands. We're putting them on the lights from their fallen colleagues. We're hoping, Rico, this is just a start. We're hoping to have a global representation. So we're expecting maybe 3 times this, but slowly, we're already giving lights as we go along to the Department of Education. But yes, we're negotiating to make it longer. But people have not seen a tribute yet because they want instantaneous 30-second commercials, which is good, but it doesn't humanize them. And if you don't humanize them, you don't see the human sacrifice in numbers. This is a lot of people. This is a lot of people that lost their lives, gotten sick. That was why it's so important for us to make it, built by the people, to remember the people that saved us.
Thank you so much, Illac Diaz, for brightening the lives of Filipinos and for honoring our kababayan frontliners all over the world. Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. Illac Diaz, founder of Litter of Light.